The 2017 NBA draft is just a month away, and the NBA lottery was just a few days ago. With the 14 lottery picks set, I'm here to give you guys my early NBA 2017 draft predictions. My name is Joshua Envyerz. Let's get started. With the first overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Markelle Fultz out of Washington. The Boston Celtics necessarily don't need another point guard. They're lacking in the bigs department, and this draft class doesn't necessarily have a first overall draft pick big that you would want to pick. And there's also the factor that they already have their all-star point guard in Isaiah Thomas, who is nothing but buckets. But when it comes to defense, he's not really the best known defender. Plus, he's also going to be a free agent next offseason. I don't know if you want to pay him a max contract to stay with the Boston Celtics for long term. Markelle Fultz is a safe pick at number 1 for the Boston Celtics if they do decide to keep the pick. A backup option could be Lonzo Ball. The Celtics could be as petty as 2K YouTubers and say, hey, Lakers, if you want Lonzo Ball, give us a trade offer. With the second pick, I have the Lakers taking Lonzo Ball. It's like LeVar spoke it into existence or the NBA lottery is rigged. It's not like they don't show the lottery balls on live television. They do that behind the scenes. It can't be rigged. I trust that envelope, and I trust that the Lakers will select Lonzo Ball if he is available. If not, then obviously you pick Markelle Fultz. Slide over D'Angelo Russell to the 2-guard position and don't trade away your young core. I know the Lakers are tempted to trade away their young core players for a guy like Paul George or a superstar that can take them over the top and push them back into the playoffs. But slow and steady wins the race, and I feel like trading for a guy like Paul George, giving up a young piece, isn't the best for your future. With the third pick, I have the Philadelphia 76ers drafting Josh Jackson out of Kansas. The Sixers are known to take the best available player for at least the past few years, no matter the position. I know the Sixers just drafted Ben Simmons last year, the same position that Josh Jackson can play, and I know they don't have that much shooting. There's a lot of rumblings saying they need some shooting. I mean, the Sixers already have enough shooting as it is. They have Sauce Castillo on the team. Nick Stauskas. That's a joke. Don't take it seriously. But Jackson can eventually become a perfect 3-and-D guy for the Philadelphia 76ers. Or possibly even something more, but looking towards the future, somebody has to guard the opposing team's best player, and I feel like Jackson could eventually do that. With Ben Simmons playing a more point forward play style next season, if the Sixers don't select Josh Jackson, they could always look at a backup option in Jayson Tatum. With the 4th overall pick, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting Jayson Tatum. The Suns really got bent over when it comes to the draft lottery odds. I mean, they were the second worst team this season record-wise, and they fell out of the top 3 into the top 4. You know, they could have had a guy like Lonzo Ball with the 2nd pick, or even Josh Jackson with the 3rd pick. Personally, I feel like Josh Jackson would be a perfect fit for this Phoenix Suns team, but I don't see him falling to the 4th pick. So the Suns are going to have to settle for the 2nd best small forward in this draft and pick Jayson Tatum, because they definitely don't need to draft another guard, so I guess Jayson Tatum is going to have to do. With the 5th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Sacramento Kings selecting De'Aaron Fox out of Kentucky. This 5th pick, I feel like it's a match made in heaven for both of them, considering the Kings need a point guard. The Kings actually need a lot of things, but they definitely need a point guard for the future to pair up with Buddy Hield. Hopefully the Sacramento Kings don't do a Sacramento Kings bonehead move by trading down for 2 lower draft picks like they did last year. Fingers crossed, the Kings learned their lesson and they're now going to try to be a good franchise and draft well. But if Fox somehow isn't here at number 5, the Kings should definitely look to draft Jonathan Isaac with this pick. They need a small forward, they need a point guard, they need a power forward, they need a lot. So yeah, with the 6th pick, I have the Orlando Magic selecting another Kentucky Wildcat, Malik Monk. Monk is by far my most favorite player in this year's NBA draft class. Honestly, a lot of people think he should go top 3, top 5, and I think the Magic are probably one of the more better destinations for him to complement Elfrid Payton. There's a lot of speculation and rumors saying that the Magic need another point guard to replace Elfrid Payton. And I know the Magic aren't probably one of the more entertaining teams to watch, but Elfrid Payton is no bum. You do not need to replace this man. This man was getting triple doubles at the end of the season last year. Just because he's not the best shooter at taking threes, he's a good defender. And Malik Monk, if you pair him up in the backcourt, defense at the point guard position and offense with the 2 guard position, the perfect pick for the Orlando Magic if Monk somehow manages to fall to 6. If he isn't there, well then I guess they gotta hope for Jayson Tatum to fall to 6. With the 7th overall pick, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking Jonathan Isaac. Imagine a lineup somewhere down the road of Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, Isaac, and Towns as a starting 5. That'd be pretty nasty. Jonathan Isaac's tall enough to play the power forward or small forward position, and hopefully the Wolves keep this pick to just add one more young player to their core. If Jonathan Isaac isn't available at 7, they should definitely take a look at Lauri Markkanen, a stretch 4 that could complement Karl Anthony Towns, but I'm not sure if you would want to take that high at 7. With the 8th overall pick, I have the New York Knicks selecting Frank Ntilikina. The talent pool of prospects drops after number 7. This is when the draft, in my opinion, would probably get unpredictable, and there's still good players in the draft, but the Knicks will most likely draft the international player that fans boo once again. He's a 6'5" point guard, a good playmaker, a good defender. His shot isn't there, but with the Knicks now going into this kind of weird rebuild mode and Carmelo Anthony's future as a Knick uncertain, I feel like this is the best option for the Knicks to take. Obviously, if they don't want a prospect and if they want someone who put up numbers in college, they could just look at Dennis Smith Jr. If you're the Knicks, you should definitely be thinking of these 2 players and these 2 players alone, considering you need a point guard now that Derrick Rose tore his other meniscus. With the 9th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Dallas Mavericks selecting Lauri Markkanen. Markkanen could possibly be Dirk Nowitzki's replacement. I mean, there's no replacing one of the greatest power forwards of all time. But with Dirk's tutelage over Markkanen, Markkanen could actually become and develop something special in Dallas. And with that, the first big would be taken in this upcoming year's draft. If for some odd reason Markkanen is taken before 9, I know the Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks have been eyeing Ntilikina as a point guard to take, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. With the 10th pick, the Sacramento Kings are up once again, and I have them selecting Dennis Smith Jr. Every year there's a few players that fall from where they're originally projected, and Dennis Smith, in my opinion, can possibly be that sleeper pick deep in this draft. Originally, he was projected to be a top 3 and top 5 pick mid-season, but because he dribbled the air out of the basketball a lot in college, takes bad shots, and at times seemed to be lazy along with his length and height not being the best. But with all those flaws, this man is an athletic monster, and I feel with Dennis Smith and De'Aaron Fox sharing that point guard position in Sacramento, it would be perfect for the Kings, especially so they won't have to overpay for Darren Collison. If the high possibility of Smith not being here at 10, they should look for a stretch big like TJ Leaf, which might be a little too high for 10 though. With the 11th pick in the draft, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting Zach Collins out of Gonzaga. The Hornets are a weird team considering they have some young talented bigs, but then they also have weird contracts in Marvin Williams and Nick Batum, and they're not really going anywhere. At least they didn't go anywhere last season. Collins could stretch the floor a little bit, plays defense, and is a perfect fit for this Charlotte Hornets team that doesn't know what they're doing at the moment, but hopefully they figure it out soon. A backup pick could be a guy like John Collins. With the 12th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Detroit Pistons selecting Luke Kennard out of Duke University. So, just like the Hornets, the Pistons are kind of a weird team in my opinion as well, considering Reggie Jackson just couldn't come back from his injury, didn't perform nowhere near the way he performed last year. So that's why the Pistons were out of the playoffs, and with the restricted free agent of Caldwell Pope may or may not be leaving this team, the Pistons need a spot-up shooter. The Pistons don't have a guy like Luke Kennard, and I feel like he's perfect for this Pistons team that seems to be trying to make it to the playoffs now rather than later, considering they have a few guys on contract and not knowing the certainty of Reggie Jackson in the future. A backup pick at this position could be a guy like Donovan Mitchell, just as insurance in case Caldwell Pope leaves. At the number 13th pick in the draft, I have the Denver Nuggets selecting Justin Jackson. The Nuggets were so close to making that 8th seed in the playoffs last year, and with Danilo Gallinari being a free agent, are they going to be able to bring him back or let him walk? I feel like it's time for the Nuggets to move on from Gallinari and Wilson Chandler, especially now with Jokic seeming to be the primary guy there. Justin Jackson could bring the versatility to the wing position, and as a rookie with some experience that could probably help the Nuggets take the next step in the future. With the 14th and last pick of the lottery, the Miami Heat, I have selecting John Collins out of Wake Forest. With Chris Bosh's health unknown, along with Udonis Haslem getting older with age, the Miami Heat don't necessarily have a power forward. I know in today's NBA it's all about having stretch bigs, and John Collins is definitely not a stretch big, or at least he wasn't in college. He's a traditional power forward and could work well with Hassan Whiteside at that 5 and 4. It'll be interesting to see if he can develop a 3-point shot, but if not, he complements Hassan Whiteside extremely well. With that said, these are my lottery predictions for the 2017 NBA Draft. Let me know your lottery predictions in the comment section below. I'll be sure to check them out. And if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to watch similar content, click any of these videos and share this video as well. It really helps my channel grow. So, I'll talk to you guys later.